Hey, you bang. I just got that a couple nights ago. You know what I mean? Like they tried to rat pack me at 3 o'clock in the morning. They're all, hey, you bang. And you know those words are never good, you know. But you don't. You said you don't live in the best area right now, but that's fine because you have things unfolding for you. And 95,000 a year is basically how you're pricing it with housing over there. You're going to be living large as you want to live, you know. I think it's perfect, you know. Most people would have just tucked and fold. You have also started a channel to help, you know, you did just what you told your mom you would do. You know, I mean, you started a channel to assist in helping people stay out of prison and quit breaking their families' hearts. Isn't that correct?
Well, I didn't only just start a channel. I established a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
And I published 2 books. I published me and my mom's book. You can find that on Amazon. It's called Dear Mom, Dear Son, Separated by Bars, Not the Heart. That book right there, everybody that's read it has gone through some serious emotions because it resonates with them.
For sure.
It's I mean, I'll send you a copy too, and
just I promise say, you better be sending me a copy.
Oh, I'm gonna send you a copy, and also I published a self-help book called An Imprisoned Mind, A Guide to Escaping Our Self-Made Prison. And basically, like, I tell people, like, I don't sugarcoat nothing, man. I'm blunt, I'm sarcastic, I'm arrogant, I'm all up in your face, raw status, scared straight, and I call bullshit. It's like I'm a career criminal, man. I'm like, my record like wraps around this building, and people try to say, "Oh, I'm a felon. I can't get a job. I'm a felon." Yeah, fry me a fucking river, man. I'm a violent bank robber. And guess what? I got a job working in a company. I've got respect in the community. I mean, I know people in law enforcement that respect me. It's like if you believe in your mind that you're going to fail and that you're a piece of shit, well, then guess what? As your self-fulfilling prophecy will be fulfilled. You are a piece of shit because you tell yourself you are. But on my channel, it's on YouTube. It's called Prison Break Raw. Prison Break Raw. And it's at raw, uncensored, uncut, no sugarcoat and no holds barred, no politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with, you know what, of reality. That's and right. Talk about all kinds of shit. I mean, the sky's the limit on Prison Break Raw. I mean, I'm taking people on all kinds of sharp turns everywhere. But the main thing is the message is positive. Like, I'm not getting on there talking about, yeah, brother, stabbed 16 people over here, and the Incredible Hulk and Superman and Spider-Man walked on the block, and I told him he better have his paperwork, and I busted him in the ear, and his ear was flapping, and, you know, it ain't nothing like that. You know what I mean? It's all about, like, we clown, we joke, we talk about positive shit. I talk about, like, different things on how the S&Y yard started. Basically, a bunch of people making bad calls, filling that yard up. We talk about what would happen to a member of Antifa if he went to prison. And I'm sure you've heard of Antifa, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Those anti-fascist dudes, what's going to happen to them when they go into prison? They're a white dude.
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell all the skinheads and all the white power dudes that they're a communist anti-fascist. What's going to happen to them? And we talked about the theory of what would happen to them. I talked about Jeffrey Epstein, talked about, you know, Tekashi 6ix9ine, Cardi B, How to Spot a Con, famous prison ghost stories. I even talked about a UFO encounter I had on the yard at Centinela.
All right. Oh, good shit.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's funny, it's comedy, it's entertaining, but there's a silver lining to my approach. It's like, you know, in order to get people's attention, you got to entertain them first.
For sure.
But then at the same time, you know, I'm just doing this series right now called Women in Chains. So I haven't seen anybody really interviewing women that have been to prison. So I got a woman on the other day who's done time in Florida, and I just had my friend Kayla. She did time in Texas, and they share their stories on there. And then, you know, I got a whole bunch of more material coming out, but it's all about calling BS and getting off your ass and taking responsibility for yourself and just pushing forward, you know?
For sure, man. You know, to backtrack on what you were saying, I tell people all the time, you know, we spend 90% of our time in our heads, you know what I mean? So I try and make mine a pretty fucking decent place to be today. you know, and people that don't are stuck with the can't mentality. You know what I mean? Fucking like you were saying, well, I'm a felon, I can't get a job, you know, all that stuff. I love hearing success stories from us that get out, and because we're like 3%. You know what I mean? 3% of people that are making it. And I don't know. I want to stay part of that 3%. I don't want to be on the 97% that are fucking tucking and folding and using this excuse and writing on a government check or whatever, SSI or whatever they're shooting for. Back in the day, if you did 19 years, you were able to get SSI automatically when you got out, you know. So I figured that's what I was going to do. I was going to get SSI right from the gate. And you used to be a drug addict and you could get it being a drug addict. They don't do that shit no more, you know what I mean? So I was pretty much stuck like you, fucking having to face it's crunch time. You know what I mean? It's crunch time. And I had done some plumbing skills inside. I had taken some classes at Tracy. You know, they try and give you little bits, different joints, you're able to pick up some kind of skills at something. But I came out with no skills, man, you know? And, you know, I love hearing the fact that you started off as a dishwasher, bro. You know, the guy collecting cans, even, at least it's an honest job, man. You know what I mean? He's feeding himself, paying for his drug habit or whatever for the day, but at least it's an honest job. You know what I mean? He ain't breaking into my car and all that shit. So, and society wants to hear that we're doing the right thing. Your channel sounds like a fun channel. I'm going to check it out. You know what I mean? I'll probably subscribe tonight. Man. So, you know Nate Dogg as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was brought up a video the other day talking about people that ain't scared of anything, you know, and Nate said, yeah, I'm scared of something. I'm scared of returning. You know, I mean, I'm scared of going back to prison. And those that have been there for any amount of calendars, I'm scared of going back to prison, bro. You know what I mean? Especially after having this channel. And like people say, you know, if you and Herc seen each other on the yard, you know, I mean, would you acknowledge each other? You know, go up shaking his hand? It wouldn't go down like that. And Herc knows that. You know, I mean, I'd nod my head like, fucking, what's up? You know what I mean? Of course, I'd be courteous and respectful to him as I am out here. But, I mean, when you're in Rome, you have to do as the Romans do. You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
I just don't think I could live that way again today, bro. Because you know that hate is just pumped into us, bro. And your first thing you're given when you get in there is a racist card. You know what I mean? Like, you better become racist. Here you go. Instead of a job ducket. You know what I mean? It's just so petty. People can't even believe some of the shit that we say because it just sounds so unrealistic. You know, rioting over a piece of bread or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? It's all supposed to be about respect. And all it really is about money and selfishness. That's how I see it. You know what I mean? Fucking... For those of us trying to give back out here, you got a nonprofit organization, and that goes for what? What is a nonprofit organization for?
It's called Stand for Something Life.
Okay.
And it's basically to help people properly reintegrate into society from prison, like transition more successfully by using emotional intelligence, cognitive thinking skills, reasoning skills, coping skills, being able to deal with high-risk situations, be able to set goals, to incentivize a plan of action to basically achieve goals and to reach a level of success, believing in yourself, creating a vision for yourself, basically shifting the paradigm that you're currently in, that you're a felon, you're a criminal. I don't rarely ever call myself a felon. I rarely ever call myself a criminal. I mostly call myself a formerly incarcerated or a returning citizen, because that's what we are. It's like we're not full-blooded citizens yet, because we still have like certain statutes of the Constitution that's restricting our rights.
Right.
But we're a returning citizen in the process of restoring our rights. And a lot of the stuff that I'm working on is basically abolishing the prison system as you know it, to create an incentivized rehabilitation program that works towards restoring your full constitutional rights upon the completion of incentivized rehabilitation.
Right. Why
vocational
shouldn't they?
training. Yeah,
Why shouldn't they? We paid
exactly.
our debt, right? We paid our debt to society. We should get all our rights back. You know, I don't know if you and Big Herc know one another, but he's working on very similar stuff, and maybe I could line you guys up. You know what I mean? Because that's
Yeah,
he's doing
tell him to get at me.
for
Tell him to get
sure.
at me. I reached out to him once upon a time, and we talked once on Facebook, but it just didn't really work out. He was kind of like talking about, well, you got to come out here. But the federal probation's like, no, you can't leave the state. Now they don't really care, but I mean, all I got to do is tell them. But it's just like he's talking about, you got to come out here. I said, well, you can come out here, and he goes, well, if I come out there, you're gonna have to help me, get out there. Have to figure out how to make it happen. Yeah.
So
And that's fair, you know what I mean? But I didn't have that kind of cash at the time, or I would have done it.
right, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know Big Herc's trying to move on to. So that's Big Herc with Fresh Out. If you guys haven't caught any
Yeah.
stuff, go be sure to check it out. But he's moving on to prison reform, bro. You know, and it sounds like you're lined up on the similar shit. You know, myself personally, I believe that the institutions are built for a reason. You know what I mean? I believe that some of those motherfuckers deserve to be there. You know what I mean? As well as you've seen that evil
Oh
that's,
no, don't.
you know,
That's I gotta tell you, like, I don't know if you've heard some of but there's a lot of big name. I'm not gonna throw them. Like I said, I don't name drop, but there's a lot of big heavy duties, heavier hitters and Badgers heavy hitters in the criminal justice world
yeah,
that are like big business, man. And I've talked to a lot of them, and a lot of things are like, well, you need to tone down this or you should tone down that. And I'm not. I have a stand when it comes to sexual predators, sexual offenders. I don't have nothing for them. There's nothing I could do to help those people. I am not a qualified clinical psychologist or psychiatrist or scientist that can analyze or break down why they do what they do. But what I am is I am a certified cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner and life coach, certified, and I can help you how to change your criminal stinking thinking. That's what I can do. But I
right,
can't help you. I can't help you learn how to stop being sexually aroused by an 11-year-old child. That's something the mental health needs to deal with. That's where I draw the line. Those people need to be locked up probably for the rest of their lives or disposed of in some other way. I know it's kind of aggressive, but that's just how I feel. Um, Especially dealing with that, I have a lot of experience with sexual abuse in so a lot of cases, experience in my life. So bad kind of stuff. Don't really want to go into it in detail on here, but
yeah,
just trust and believe that there has been a lot of trauma happen around my family behind that stuff. So it's to me, it's like if you're stuck in your criminal mindset, you're on the dope, you're in the gangs. 90% of the people that are in prison have some kind of abuse or some kind of trauma, either physically, mentally, emotionally, or sexually. And you could basically teach them how to break free from that by helping them develop emotional intelligence, cognitive thinking, and I can help that, but I can't help somebody who's psychotic. I just can't do it. I'm
I
not
think
even going to
they
say
have,
that I can.
I think they have a thing called state boot therapy or something like that, where a couple guys wear boots and they stomp on their head until they quit thinking that
Pretty
way.
much.
You know,
Pretty much.
so
Yeah.
uh,
It's
so
almost about like I'm all about giving back to the community and basically trying to deter these youngsters. Like when you asked me earlier, what would you tell a youngster going in? Um, the one thing that I said is like, tell them to be a man and take the rap for their own shit. That's first and foremost. But the one thing that I like to tell these kids, I'm like, look, I would rather you not go to prison, but if you're gonna go to prison, at least I could do is I can help prepare you so that you don't die in there. You know what
right,
I mean? So
right,
the main thing that I could tell these youngsters is keep your mouth shut, keep your eyes and ears open, and learn. Learn from the OGs in there because they will guide you if you let them.
that's right. So, uh, I told you, I asked you if you had any good stories for Patreon because I don't like to put the violence on here. So we'll cut that separately, and I'll put that on Patreon. That's what Patreon is. So I like to leave this as a positive channel, let them hear and see the violence on that channel. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna put our interview out, and man, I guarantee you, people are gonna start hitting your channel. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like you got some good shit going on over there, and I'm gonna support it. I thank you for your time. I hope to do another interview with you soon. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'd like to stay in touch and let people see where we're going, man, that we're not moving backwards, because I get in my own way a lot. You know what I mean? I can get my own way in my relationships with employment, because I'd like to hear some of this cognitive thinking shit, because I'd like to figure out ways out of my thing. Now, for me, I use the 12 steps in Alcoholics Anonymous. You know what I mean? That's my break, 4-step, and then working 10 steps. And I've gotten a lot of relief from that. But if there's more that I could learn, of course, I'm open to doing that. And if you guys are, so if there was a kid out there running a wrong path, and he knew he didn't really want to run that path, but he sort of felt he had to because of where he lived and who he's already kicking it with. He doesn't really have anyone to turn to at home. What advice would you give him?
My main thing is I would definitely tell him that don't believe the hype. Don't believe that you have no choice, because you always have a choice. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was young. But it seemed like a lot of people were pushing me and molding me into what I had became, because I just didn't give a fuck. I mean, literally, like, I was down to do whatever. Like, I'll run into a dynamite factory and drag all the dynamite out, even falling out and everything. I wouldn't care if it blew up or not. It's I would tell these kids that you have a choice. You have a right to be respected. You have a right to love yourself, and you are better off.
But I won't have any friends if I do that. What do I do? I'm scared to hang.
I go through this shit with I go through this shit with my niece, bro. It's like, she's like, well, I gotta have friends. I gotta have a social life. I'm like, look, man, fuck that social life. I don't have a goddamn social life. I'm too busy with everything I do. I said, you go, you get your diploma, you save your money, you get your driver's license, you get your car and all that stuff together. Friendships will come. To try to tell the kid that, like, you could seek out other positive avenues. The problem with this is it's really easy to tell these kids, you could do this, but there's nowhere to tell them to go, because there's no money, there's no funding, like, there's no, like, positive, like, mentors for these boys. Nowadays,
are the YMCA's closed now, or what's going on with those? Like, do they still have school counselors, or hell, going to the local fire department and talking to them, even, like, I try and tell them that they're not the enemy. These are men that can point you in the right direction. I don't know if YMCA is still open. You know what I mean?
I don't know. A lot of those places have a lot of problems with these weirdos that go in there and start fondling people's kids and everything, and they kind of fuck it all up. And it's like I said, man, I mean, me and you both know that at the end of every pile of shit that's been stacked on all of us is some kind of a chomo. Richard Allen Davis, the reason the 3 strikes law came into place. YMCA's and Boy Scouts getting shut down because of some freaking weirdo chomo, you know what I mean? And it's like,
you're fucking my head up right now thinking, because these are the places I tell them to go too. You know what I mean? Like, join the Cub Scouts, join the fucking boy.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying seek out every positive outlet you can. But I've just, we've heard of the stories where people have manipulated these programs because these programs aren't background checking these dudes right. Or they may not even have a sexual background, but they might have been a weirdo the whole time. It's kind of like you never know. I mean, you can have the guy next door, and he has wife and kids, and he's a doctor, and she's a lawyer and all that, and he could be a weirdo. You never know what the next person is. It's kind of like that's what we live in, and the main thing is that we need to become more proactive and involved in our own communities. Like, we could be the positive role models if we just choose to be. It's like kids just want to believe in something. They want to stand for something. They want to believe that they're going to be rich, powerful. Our society has forever been ingraining into our mind that we're only successful when we're rich and when we're either throwing a football or we're singing on TV, and that's what makes us good. When these kids can't achieve that, it depresses them.
It's that spiritualness inside that makes us feel
Exactly.
good. I'm rich, bro, and I'm good with me. You know what I mean? That's my richness. So, hey, listen, man, I really appreciate the hour you gave me. The check's in the mail, you know. So, I'd like to hook up again soon. As you know, when you get your job going, and let them know where you're at. Let them see that, like, even for the convict coming out, that you don't have to remain a convict. You know, I mean, you'll always have that jacket if you remain with that jacket, you know, but you can become a productive member of society, and it's up to us. Just something as simple as saying I can instead of I can't is a huge deal.
Excuses.
No excuses, man. Respect
no
on
excuses
that one.
At all.
Right.
If I'm gonna tell a man, if he starts crying and making excuses, I'm gonna tell him to paint his nails.
Right.
You know, because it's just like,
don't smoke a vape.
Trust me.
Huh?
Hey. Trust me, bro. I'm not even from this freak. I'm not even from the Midwest, man. I'm a Southern California boy. I'm an LA boy. I'm all about the beach and the shopping malls and the streets and the barrio and the gangs and the lowriders and the big shorts and all that. I'm out here like
deer rifles.
Yeah, I'm out here straight naked and afraid, man. I'm like Tom Hanks on that island, but I don't have Wilson with me. I just have a little orange cat.
That's
you know, and that's how it was. And if I can make it, it's not only because I have hustle, but it's because I believe in my hustle. If you believe in your own hustle, you're going to make it.
That's right. Hey, throw your channel up one more time.
Okay, it's called Prison Break Raw. Prison Break Raw, you'll see a picture of me. It's back when I had my bald head. It's a black and white picture. You'll see all my videos on there. You'll know it when you see it.
No vape in your hand at that time.
No, ain't no vaping with that, man. I just, I gotta have a little R&R type stuff,
All right. So, hey, thank you for your time, man. I'm gonna shut this off and see if it quits recording, and we'll talk, and we'll do the Patreon stuff. You know, the little violence here and there, whatever you may have seen, witnessed, or been involved in. You don't need to name that, you know what I mean? But my Patreon deserves that, you know what I mean? It deserves to know the real of what goes on in there too, as far as the violence. This ain't nothing. He's out. Check his pockets. You know the old deal. You know, so I'm gonna kill.
I got some stories, man. You know what I mean? I got some stories.
Oh, I know you do.
Yeah.
Just expose what you want to expose. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this right here. Hey, thank you, Tribe. I appreciate you tuning in. JD, thank you for letting them know about your channel. And, I appreciate the hour that you've given me. And, we'll pick it up again. Let me go ahead and kill this. All right. Some people want it to happen. Some people need it to happen. But heavy hitters make it happen. Nothing but love and respect coming from me.